Hello everyone, welcome back to our complete ABAP plus HANA course on Srijan Institute and Training Center YouTube channel. So we have now created our header table and item table, and we have also stored the data into our header and item table. Now in this part we are going to discuss the various kinds of SAP database tables, and we will also see what is this structure and how we can use it in our tables for storing data and for other kind of requirements as well. So for that, let's open our Excel sheet. Yes. Okay. So what are the various types of SAP database tables? What SAP did in case of ECC, when we were working on ECC, it introduced the various three kinds of table. First one was transparent table, then pool table, and then we have the cluster table. In case of transparent table, what you are going to see, there will be a one-to-one relationship between the ABAP dictionary and the database. That is, if you are creating one table in your database, then it will corresponds to only, if you are creating one table from your SE11 transaction code, then it will correspond to only one table in the database. That is, there will be a one-to-one mapping between the ABAP dictionary and the database. Then the second kind of table we had was pool table. So in case of pool table, there is n to 1, that is many to one relationship between the ABAP dictionary and the database. The relationship defined by SAP was n to 1, that is, for multiple tables there will be only one tables in your database. And for pool tables, primary foreign key relationship is not required. So this primary foreign key relationship was not mandatory in case of our pool table. Then we have this cluster table. So in case of cluster table, again we will have many to one relationship between the ABAP dictionary and the database. But now comparing with the pool table, what we saw in pool table was that for pool tables, primary foreign key relationship is not required. But in case of our cluster table, primary foreign key relationship is mandatory. So this is the difference between our pool table and cluster table, that in case of pool table, primary foreign key relationship is not required, but in case of cluster table, primary foreign key relationship is mandatory. Now when SAP introduced HANA in 2015, what it did, we will only be creating the transparent table and we will never be creating the pool and cluster table. What SAP did, it removed the concept of cluster table and pool table from HANA, and we are now only working on transparent table. But in case of most of the ECC system, you guys will still see the concept of pool and cluster table. But for interview perspective, we must know the difference. Now let's discuss the concept of structures. It is a very beautiful concept. What is a structure? So a structure is a collection of fields or columns of different data type or similar data type. That it is a collection of fields or columns of different data type or similar data type. And the difference between a table and a structure is that a table contains the actual data and a structure does not contains any data. Like if you want to store any data in case of your database, this is a mandatory step, that there must be a table where you will be storing the particular data. You cannot store data at any place. The data will always be stored in a table. So what is the difference between a table and a structure? A structure does not contains any data, but a table contains a data. Now, since our structure is not going to contain any data, then there is no necessity of our primary key in case of our structure. So a structure does not have any primary key. Now, how many types of structures are there in your ABAP? So we will see there are basically two kinds of structure. The first one is include structure and the second one is append structure. So you can create your include structure from SE11 transaction code, you will create it and you can reuse it in as many tables as you want. That is, it is a reusable structure and we can insert the include structure in a table at any point. So suppose if I want to create any structure and I want to add it, let's take a requirement. Let's take a requirement so that we will be able to understand this particular concept. I will go to my employee table. This is my employee table. And here what I want, that I want to add a field of employee location just after the employee name, and I will achieve this requirement using the concept of structure. So what is the use of this include structure? What I can do, I can insert the include structure in a table at any point. So if I want to add a structure just after this employee name, I can create a include structure and I can add it. But your append structure, you can always insert the append structure at the last only. So it always insert the columns at the last only. But in case of include structure, it is a reusable structure. You can reuse it as many times as you want. But your append structure is not a reusable structure. You can only create from your table section. You cannot create it from SE11 transaction code. You will have to go to a table in change mode, then you can only create your append structure. So this is the difference between our include and append. Now include structure is only applicable to customer specific tables. It is not applicable to SAP specific tables. But your append structure is applicable to both customer specific and SAP specific tables as well. So my requirement was to add a employee location just after the employee name. So for that purpose, what we will do, we will create a structure. So let's see how we can create a structure. So we will have to create a domain and data element, and its data type will be character and 40 length. So domain, okay, what I will do, I will go to SE11 and I will create a domain with ZSI underscore employee underscore location. This will be my domain. I will click on create button. I will provide a short description, employee location, and I will take here data type as character and its length will be 40. Now click on save button. Assign the package. What was our package? Our package was this one, and our transport request will be 38. So we will use our transport request here. Now activate your domain. So once our domain has been activated, what we can do, we can create our data element. So copy the name of our domain and we will go to create a data element. So employee location emp underscore location. Click on create button, data element, click on OK button, and we will provide a short description. So we will provide here a short description, and in the domain section we will paste our domain name. Now we will also provide a heading for the column in the field label. So here I have provided the heading for my column in the field level section. Now I will click on save button, assign the package, transport request, and activate your data element. Your data element has been activated. Now we will copy this data element. So now my domain and data element has been created. I can directly go for the creation of my include structure. So see how you can create your include structure. You will select this data type and you will give a name. So I am giving a name as structure underscore employee underscore location, employee location. I will click on create button. Select this data type radio button, give a name for your structure and click on create button. Now here you can see we have a radio button structure. Select it and click on OK button. Provide a short description, employee location. Now in the component, just give a field name. I am giving the name of my field as employee underscore location, and in the component type we will copy the name of the data element. See, now if you want to add multiple columns as well, you can simply add it. You will have to give the name of field here, and in the component type you will provide the name of your data element. Simply save it, package, transport request and activate it. So your include structure is ready. Now copy the name of structure and see how we can add it in our table. I will go to my database table. I will open my employee table in change mode. I will select this column where I want to add it. I will go for edit, include, insert, and I will give the name of my structure and press enter. You can see by default a name is coming in the field section with the name as dot include. So your name of your structure in the table will be dot include, and in case of data element your structure will be added. Simply activate your table. You can see we don't have any error. Now if you will open your table in display mode, you will be able to see all those fields that are there in case of your include structure. So if we will go to SM30, we will see that this column is not reflecting in our table. ZSI employee tab. We will see here. Wait a minute. Go to utilities, table maintenance generator, change mode, utilities. So to reflect our column in case of SM30, we will delete our TMG. We will delete our TMG and regenerate it again. One step, find screen number, click on create button. Now go to SM30, click on maintain button. Now you can see this employee location is there, so you can add any if you want. So I am giving here as Noida, Delhi, Gandhinagar, Mumbai and Jaipur. Click on save button and our data has been saved. So this is how we can use this concept of include structure to add as many columns as I want in case of my table, and data will be directly stored in my table now. So this is how you can create your include structure. Now what is this append structure? So append is not a reusable structure and it always inserts the column at the last. So to implement it, let's take a requirement. Suppose I want for my particular column, this project location, the value should be fixed, that I want only out of these three values should be stored in case of my project location. So here we can use this concept of, this is a very beautiful concept for your domain. We can use the concept of value range so that it will limit the storage of data and we will only be able to store these three data only if. So what I will do, let's see how we can create this particular value range. So we will go to SE11 transaction code, select this domain, and for project location I will give the name of domain as project underscore location. Now I will click on create button and I will assign a short description. Now here data type, suppose I am giving a character 3 length. So the benefit of this particular value range tab is that we can limit the length of any particular data here. So suppose I am giving character 3 length. Now I will go to value range, and here I will give the value of all those particular data that I want to store. So for Delhi, I will give a 3 length fixed, and I will give the name as Delhi. For Gujarat, I will give JUJ for Gujarat. So you can see here my length is fixed, but here we can store as many long data as I want, and I will be able to use this particular data in case of our column. But manually we will not be able to store any data after this, but when you are using the concept of value range. So for Mumbai, I will give MUM. So click on this below button, and here I will give MUM, and in short description I am giving Mumbai. Now I will click on save button. I will assign the package transport request, and I will activate my data element. So copy the data element, and I will activate this domain, and I will go to SE11 to create a data element this time. So here we will give the name of as data element as project location. Click on create button, data element, OK, and give a short description as project location. In domain, simply paste your domain name. Field level, I will give here as project location. Save package transport request, activate. Our data element is ready. Now let's see how we are going to use it. So what I want for my project table, I want to add this project location after the project name. So open your table in change mode. Now you can see here we have a particular button of append structure. So I will simply click on this append structure button, and I will give a append structure name. So ZSI append underscore structure. Now I will click on OK button. Append structure. Now in the component, you will give the name of your field. So I am giving the name here as project underscore location, and in the component I will paste the data element. Save it, package transport request, and activate it. We can see there is no error. Now if you will click on back button, by default you will see a field with dot append has been added, and in case of your data element your structure name is added. But below this dot append you can see all the fields and data element section has been changed to read mode only. So now this definition will be clear that why it always inserts the column at the last. So append structure will always be inserted at the last, and after that you will not be able to store any data. We will go to utility table maintenance generator, and we will delete our TMG and regenerate it again. So find screen number, click on create button. Now if we'll go to SM30, see what are the changes that has been happened in our table. You will see this project location, and here data will come in form of a value range. So here drop down, here data is coming in form of a drop down, and you can only select out of these three data only, and if you don't want, you can select this empty tab. So you will be able to only select these three data. So this is a very beautiful concept of value range, and we can perform the domain level verification validation on our columns. So let's store multiple data here. Select any data that you want. Mumbai, Gujarat, Delhi, Mumbai, Delhi, Gujarat. Now click on save button. Now if you click on display button, you can see all the data is coming by default. So this is the use of our value range, how we can use it, and we can perform the domain level validation, and we will only be able to store those particular data, and all those data will come in form of a drop down. So I hope this difference is clear between append structure and include structure. Include is a reusable structure, and we can insert the include structure in a table at any point, but in case of append structure, it is not a reusable structure and it always inserts the column at the last. And we also see the various kind of database table that are there in case of our SAP and what are their differences. So this is all about today's lecture, and we will continue from next lecture. Thank you very much for watching the video.